Hello everyone. I know we've looked at mainly guitar stuff, but I also wanted to touch on using digital audio interfaces, so we call those DAWs for short, and also recording, because hopefully once you get into the guitar and things like that, you want to experiment with recording you playing. It's a great way of listening back. It's a great thing to compose. Maybe you play in bands and you want to record your band. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do with digital recording nowadays, and it's relatively inexpensive. There was a time many years ago where you could get a 4-track tape recorder, so you could record 4 tracks at once, and they were relatively inexpensive. But if you wanted to go much deeper into it and go into producing and things like that, you would need thousands and thousands of pounds worth of equipment, big studios, mixing desks. But nowadays, with powerful computers, you need very little. In fact, if you've already got a computer, albeit a Mac, PC, doesn't matter, you've probably got enough power to run a digital audio workstation without any problems at all. The one component to look at the things you really ought to look at if you're getting a computer, or if you've got a computer and you want to make it more viable for recording, is the amount of RAM. Because if you're using virtual instruments or effects, if you're affecting your guitar using virtual instruments, they can be quite RAM heavy. So it's worth getting a high spec computer. Also, the best processor possible in your computer's great, and also solid state hard drives. But best way to do it is just whatever computer you've got, give it a go and see how it goes. But if we look at the main components you'll need to get up and running in your home studio, we can take it from there. So I've got this isn't designed for audio recording. I have got a PC in my studio which I use for audio recording, which has been built specifically for the job, and I'll show you that. But this is what I use for all my location recording, going out various places, and it's capable of running, track-wise, I've run over 75 tracks of audio and MIDI information, which I'll discuss with you on here without any trouble at all. The only thing that probably holds it back slightly is the size of the screen, but then you can connect a bigger screen if you wanted. So if you've got a laptop and want to connect a bigger screen for more tracks, that's fine to do. Okay, so you're going to need a computer of some description, a DAW. Now there's all kinds of manufacturers of DAWs. I use Cubase, which we're going to look at today. There's also Logic, so if you've got a Mac, Logic's fantastic software. GarageBand, which is free with a Mac. Ableton, loads of people use Ableton, that's Mac and PC based. What else have we got? We've got there's one called Bitwig. There's all kinds. If you type in DAW into Google, it'll come up a whole list of stuff. All of them, all modern DAWs are fantastic now. There's not, I don't think people can say one is better than the other. Some people in dance music like Ableton, but then again, there's no reason you can do anything in any of the DAWs nowadays. So you're going to need a computer, a DAW of some description. Also, when we're on the subject of DAWs, if you go for Cubase or one of the manufacturers, sometimes they'll do a student, if you're a student or in education, you get an education discount, which is very good. But also they'll do a scaled back version. You can get a pro version, but they also do different increments where sometimes they're limited on tracks, the amount of effects you can have. But in saying that, if you get the basic one, it's still a really powerful bit of software to use. Okay, so we've got the DAW inside the computer, and then you're going to need some sort of sound card or digital audio interface. I've got an RME here one, so this is a really great interface for recording guitars. You can plug straight in and use virtual instruments, but you can also use a breakout box to record if you want to record vocals. So this converts any analog signal, so a guitar, a microphone, you can plug a keyboard in, and it'll convert it into digital for the DAW to read. There's also, I've got an old Line 6 here, which I've had for years. In fact, I've got a few of these, and these have been fantastic, really inexpensive. So if you're looking at sound cards, again, loads of manufacturers. The Line 6 there is really good. RME, that's a great sound card. That's it's more expensive, but there's Focusrite do one around £100, somewhere around there. PreSonus make one. M Audio. There's again a modern sound card, a USB sound card. All of them have got generally got very good drivers, and with good drivers come good latency, so you don't get a sort of, you play a chord and then you hear it. The latencies have got much better now, so there's generally no delay when you hear the sound. Okay, so we've covered sound cards, computers, DAW. Then you need some way of listening back to it. So a set of headphones, if you've got your own headphones, they could be in-ear. You can have studio monitors. I've got various pairs of studio monitors. In here we've got the Tannoys. They're great. They're quite old now, but they still do the job. But any way of listening back at this stage, so it could just be a set of headphones you have around. Hi-fi speakers would work as well. And then perhaps the other things you may need, obviously, if you play keyboards, you can get a USB keyboard. Again, we'll look at different ones of those you can get. I've got a few of those we can have a look at, but that's where you basically just plug it in for USB and away you go. So with these, very few things. So in fact, what we're going to do in the next video is record my introduction to my YouTube channel just using Cubase alone and one digital audio interface and the DAW, so it's just the computer, those three factors, and my speakers, and no other third-party software, just purely just in Cubase. We're going to create a quick clip for the YouTube channel.